You have so many cool little brain sciencey tips. I'm just like nerding out just listening to you speak.
I'm such a nerd.
Guys, you are in for such a treat today. Sitting with me is personal coach and clinical hypnotherapist Heather Hayward, who's going to give us the lowdown on some cool tips and tricks we can do to kind of up our meditation game. One of the things that I really love is that you have a kind of basic meditation that you offer that goes from 5 minutes to 10 minutes that you can really build up. Because how often, I'm sure you see it a lot, where people want to meditate, but they have no clue where to begin. They're afraid they're going to do it wrong. They think that it's all just hocus pocus, but you really show them a way. Hey, listen to this track. Do it for just 5 minutes if that's all you have, and build up, which I think is very cool.
When I would say to my clients, well, just do this meditation that we did in the session. Just do it, just put on some music. And I found that almost 100% of the people never followed through. And so the two issues that everyone had is, I really don't know how to do it when I'm on my own, and I don't have the time. And even though you can do an alarm on your clock, people still, it's not romantic enough.
No.
There's no juicy quality to it.
Do you ever get people who aren't necessarily clients but call you and just love that you have these audios and want one for themselves?
Yes, we offer where people don't need to have coaching. Say they just have a certain goal that they want to achieve, or a certain level of esteem or confidence. So I will spend about an hour really getting clear on what they want to feel, as you know, what they want to experience, what they want to see themselves doing. And then I create a hypnosis script for it and basically utilize the words that really light them up. And the nice thing is you get to pick what music. Do you want music? Maybe it's just rain or ocean. Maybe you just want the brainwave frequencies, which is a little peculiar because they sound weird without music in them.
Like little monsters?
Yes, they sound very strange.
Yeah.
So you can pick the music. You can also pick between, you can have a 15-minute, a 30-minute, and a subliminal track.
Oh, wow.
So you get your own library.
I love subliminal tracks. Guys, you can just put these on when you're doing your work and just your brain is just going off. And well, actually, tell us, what signals is your brain sending you when you're listening to these things?
And the thing with subliminals, which is really fascinating, is it bypasses that critical faculty, which is what hypnosis does. So if I were to say to you, there's a jaguar waiting out front, right out here outside your door, your critical faculty would say, no, it isn't.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you set goals and you've not achieved them yet, our critical faculty goes, no, that's not possible.
Yeah.
So in hypnosis, when you can bypass that and imagine yourself already in the future that you want to have, or at the end destination, that's how hypnosis creates new tracks in the brain and new neural pathways. And with the subliminals, especially with the self-talk, it really helps. What I've noticed is the self-talk, because they say that 95% of how we feel is directly related to our self-talk.
What?
95%.
That is frightening. I guess also powerful too, because if we change it, then we have the power to change the way we respond to things. But my goodness.
So there are studies that we have 60,000 thoughts a day or 80,000, right? So let's just say 60.
Okay.
So with 60,000 thoughts a day, they say that 95% are the same as yesterday.
Wow.
Out of that 95%, 85% is negative. So we have somewhere in the upwards of like 45,000 thoughts per day that are negative.
That's horrifying. And so how do we change that? How do we switch to positive?
So if you think of thoughts, we can never be responsible for our first thought.
Okay.
Because it could just be random, pink elephants, and you're just like, meh.
Marshmallows.
Exactly.
So is my what word are you thinking of? For some reason it's always marshmallows. I don't know why.
Mine are pink elephants.
Oh, okay.
Clearly.
Yeah.
And so it's the second thought that we begin to repeat. So it's really understanding that each thought communicates to all the cells in our body. There isn't an innocent thought that we keep thinking.
Yeah.
Random thought really has no relevance, right? It's just in and out. But sometimes we'll loop, am I going to pass that test? Am I going to get this job? Am I going to get married? Am I ever going to have a child? You know, and you start to loop, and that's when the chemicals in our body release more cortisol, let's not even do that. Cortisol,
Epa something.
adrenaline, and they can those stress hormones can last in the upwards of 12 hours.
Wow.
After you have like a real tense, anxious, worry, ruminating. So it's actually not healthy for one's brain to stay in that negativity. So Dr. Rick Hansen in Buddha's Brain talks about that we have a negative bias, that we are born with lions and tigers and bears. You know, we're born with this fear for protection and survival. So that if you have one negative, you need 7 positive thoughts
To cancel it out.
To neutralize that negative, to calm it down. And the other thing that I like is to make a good fact, a positive fact, into a positive experience. And how you do that is, oh, I love my dog. But then you sit and you really think, no, I really love my dog. And you make positive facts into positive feelings, positive experiences. That's the other thing. Not that I don't love affirmations, but a lot of times we're saying affirmations in a beta wave frequency, which is very fast and repetitive, instead of getting into more of an alpha, more of a relaxed state, state of to be able to visualize, to then be able to put words to it, and then to have a feeling. So you do feeling, words, and visual.
Okay, whole
really
combo.
Really makes a different experience. They've actually done studies where they have people practicing the piano, physically practicing, and then other people practicing in their mind for the exact same amount of time. And what happens is that part of their brain gets larger. That are visualizing for the exact amount of time. So you are changing your brain, and you know you can change the neural pathways by repetition.
Habit. I have to say, I can speak firsthand because I use your experience, my goals. Guys, if you just get the experience, my goals track on her site. It's insane. Because I always had a hard time with visualizing. It was always a tricky one for me. And since I've started using that, like I get into that meditation and I can see it. I can feel it. There's a big smile on my face. I'm exhilarated.
And that changes your state. Do you know that? And that's what you want, is that change of state, because that and it also pops you up out of it where you're more motivated, you know, to follow through, to take that next step, to take that action.
Yeah. It's so funny. People talk about meditation a bunch, and it's kind of become a buzzword. And some people, of course, are skeptical of it. But like you're saying, it's literally changing our brains.
Yes. And
there's science to prove it.
The thing that is so overwhelming for this time that we're living is the amount of information that's coming in keeps our autonomic nervous system lit up all the time. So we never know, you know, every time you open up your phone, you never know what you're going to get, right?
Yeah.
Is it a text? Is it email? So it's a constant flow of stimulus. And one of the things that meditation does through breathing, really focused in on your breathing, is it cools your basal ganglia, which is that part of the brain that controls anxiety and worry. And it also has shown that if you meditate regularly in like a mindfulness practice where you're just aware of your hands or aware of your breath, aware of how you're feeling, and you do it for 8 weeks, for 45 minutes, they've shown that it increases gray matter in the brain, which you want fluffy gray matter, that's a healthy brain. And it also helps to stimulate the areas for compassion, for sensory learning, for memory. So it actually makes you a healthier all-around person, because when you meditate, I don't know what you've noticed, but after you meditate, you're more present.
Yes,
And
without a doubt.
that's, you know, rather than so split and all over the place. So I always say that you can delete the spiritual part for meditation and just do it for the brain health. And my son, you know, when you get the stamp of approval from your own kid, when he was in the middle of his studies, he said, you know, I'm really stressed, so I sent him the My Meditation, and the one that he loves is the 10-minute one, because anyone has 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just the right amount of quiet that you get to cool that basal ganglia, that part of your brain that just loops. And he described it as closing his eyes and falling out of his mind, which I thought was just great.
Pretty awesome.
like,
I'll take that.
I'd like to bottle that.
Right. Well, apparently you did. It's in a recording. There you go. Well, thank you so much for sitting here and chatting with me. It's always a blast. My pleasure. And guys, definitely check out our site, heatherhayward.com. You can click on the link below. And oh gosh, this stuff will change your life. Enjoy. And until next time, of course, as always, stay fancy, fabulous, and fun.
Bye.
Bye.